this. There's Baidu's competitive one, Dew Claw launch as well. So the Chinese are kind of, right? Like, yeah, there's someone said White Claw. No Loon is on one today, man. That was a good one there. But yeah, it's interesting, right? So I do believe this is a neck and neck race. You got the open claws here. You have the Baidu Dew Claw. Now you have the Alibaba Claw as well. I haven't used one yet, to be honest.
No, I haven't. Brendo's been, he's used a few. We've used Perplexity Computer.
But don't you use it all up essentially in one day?
Yeah, so that's the ones that you pay for.
Yeah.
But if you actually run OpenClaw, like the Claude-bot one, and you run it locally, you're only restricted to your tokens on the LLM that it uses. So it itself is running locally, right? Okay. Or on AWS. If you set it up on AWS like Wainers did, you can do that. Or you can get a Mac Mini, set it up on that, runs internally like here. Yeah. Okay. And then the amount of tokens that you're using is when it sources to, say, Chat or Gemini or whatever else, other LLM. That's the only like usability side, token side to it. Otherwise, it's unlimited there. All right, one more thing before we send it over to the big boys. I know we're overtime. Dathong, 26.92. Thank you very much, brother, for the $5 super chat. If you swing/day trade, what is a good annual percentage and what is the average? I am new to trading, but make good money so far. I'm going to let the big boys answer that. I think that's probably down their alley. They've been trading a lot longer and they've made a lot more money than us. So I think that's probably one for them. And thank you very much, Dathong. I don't want to kind of
not to brush the question away, but just allow them to answer that.
I think they're better suited, of course, to do that. So, in any event, guys, we're sending you to the big boys. No afternoon rundown today. Adara's going to be covering the GTC conference, big conference today from Nvidia. Let's find out what happens. I'm excited for it, Joey. Send him off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Hope everyone's having a pretty good day. I'm looking forward to watching this conference as well, too. We're starting to go live right now. Here it is. I know there's no volume there, but NVDA symbol. So we'll keep our eyes on this. I mean, I was reading the plus or minus. You're going to catch a couple percentage points. You're going to probably see a volatility spike or two, but maybe nothing crazy, right? So just be prepared to look to get involved. And who knows, fade the pop, buy the dip. There are going to be multiple opportunities here.
Welcome, everybody. The Nvidia GTC is what it's all about.
We're back.
Yes, we're back. A couple of extra minutes on, but yeah, Nvidia's actually trying to spike a little bit higher here. We have Adara is going to be locked and loaded and ready to go to make sure that we get all the lay of the land here ultimately. But it's been a good day for chip names in general. Like Nvidia up that 2.5 points. We talked about Micron, and we talked about that earlier. Intel was having a much better day than it is now, but it's up 5%. Obviously, it's been a big day for SND. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. I guess if you haven't been paying attention, maybe you don't know it's been a big day for SNDK. SNDK up 8% and holding a lot of these gains. So there's a lot to look at that isn't necessarily Nvidia that looks really strong this afternoon, but all eyes will be focused on Jensen, who he might bring up. Dara already mentioned the Dell. Lots of sponsors there, but the Dell might be a prominent one. So we'll have areas to the ground there. We didn't really get too much turmoil out of the president and his conference in the middle of the day. Futures didn't really do much of anything, so I guess that was a bit of a dud, let's be real. If you were expecting some fireworks, not much. The Don, he was dancing instead.
He was dancing. He's a pretty happy guy these days.
Yeah, I don't think he was actually dancing in the conference. But.
Boy, I see a trade here in Alibaba. Maybe we just talked a little bit about Alibaba on the other side there. A good bottom, potentially. I don't know, man. You have the 200-period moving average right here at 136.50, right there. Yes, you can't win sneezing around here. 136.50, yeah, maybe as a potential low there for Alibaba. I don't think NVIDIA is going to say anything negative about this name, but could happen. Well, Adara's going to cover the NVIDIA conference for us. And
he's not on stage yet. They're still playing this weird inspirational music, and a lot of the lyrics seem really geared to like, oh, you just keep getting better. You're a superstar. I'm like, is this what NVIDIA thinks of itself? I don't really know. You ain't seen nothing yet. Like, these lyrics seem really coded, but either way, Jensen's not here yet. So that's all that really matters for our purposes.
The only thing we ain't seen here yet is Jensen. So we'll have to, yeah, the little tease there. With that. So, okay, Adara, yeah, it should be fun. We're getting ready to blast that off to everybody, right? Hopefully it'll be a good, conference there, and we'll pay attention. Neil and I will chime in when we see, trading opportunities, if there is a mention of certain companies. We'll try to hop over to them and discuss maybe what that looks like for them and what the trading opportunity is there, if any, in the name. I only have Palantir on, and it's just kind of just waiting, man, for it to pop through. We put some offers right near the highs of the day on Palantir. We have the low and the high tick of the day here on PLTR. So that's a 151, and all we did was take that one against the pre-market little levels there. We tweeted this out as well. And then we just waited similarly for these bump ups here as well. So we were able to get some out. Our least out is 152.60. It just did drop down into VWAP again. Could have been a buying moment and maybe should have been. So we'll wait to see what happens here with with Palantir and the Nvidia conference. I'm just trying to scan through some of the other names here. We'll here's Nvidia's stock. We can just look at this right here. A good trade today. We did get out when it broke VWAP. It has returned back into the highs. Looking for that to possibly break as well, right? A great hold of the 200 period, great hold of VWAP. We did spend a little bit of time underneath there, but looks like it wants to try to go. And we've been sitting here before on these conferences and watched names absolutely rip or tank. I don't think that's going to be the deal today for Nvidia, but if it is, man, watch out for 185 breaking. The high of the day, 185.06, might be worth a little long take if that winds up happening. So, yeah, that's something I'm looking for to punch long on a break of 185.10. That's the high of the day, and I think that that might be something there with VWAP down here at 185, 184. Give it about $1. I don't know. It might be something here for Nvidia today. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I guess some eyeballs on AMD. Certainly going into this event, it's been bouncing very, very nicely off of VWAP. So just looking for something that has a bit of a pattern that we can observe that I think should move. And obviously, Nvidia and AMD not going to be exactly the same, but they're both similarly up a couple of points. But this one's lagging a bit. So if we break out that high, I think Nvidia looks like it wants to try to do. Yeah. I do like some AMD for a chance to do the same thing. But looking in the other direction, if I may, Intel just lost VWAP. I'm kind of looking at this one in the other direction. Lower highs, I know it's up 5%, but it's been putting in lower highs all morning. And I just saw a bit of a volume spike down here on Intel. So not really sure what might have caused that. But that spike up, that spike up just now on Nvidia just corresponded with a move down through VWAP on Intel. So I'm seeing it move in the other direction. Now let's establish under VWAP. I'm going to look short this one with the 48.25 was the resistance. If we can get a bit of a pop, I'm going to look for that as well.
So I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy. I just went long. I mean, I said what I was going to do there, and it broke through. I didn't even have the order out. Once it broke through 185.05, I just kind of see if it was going to settle down for a minute and punched a little long 09s. I don't... what we've been looking at is pullbacks into the 200 period moving average. So I wouldn't be surprised if this market does come back in for Nvidia a little bit. I don't want to buy anything else until we get to here. 185.60s, something like that. So, take this for what it's worth. This is just a trade, as we say right now, just to try to hold on for if he comes on when he makes his little appearance there. Hopefully there is some sort of a bump here to Nvidia. And if there's not, fine. We'll go back down into 185.60 and we'll see if we're able to get something out down there, okay? So it's a pretty simple trade base for me here. Let's just wait to see what happens with Nvidia. 184.60 is my next sort of target. And I mean, Palantir just also went to the highs of the day as well. 153, you might as well put, I had an offer sitting there at 80s. I didn't even have one at 90s because I was looking at Nvidia, but here we go. We're gonna put a bid there and see if, or offer, sorry, and see if, well, bless you, and see if we get something on, bless you again. On Palantir. So we'll wait for a 90 fill there, and we're long right now Nvidia, waiting to see if we can do something with this name. So yeah, well, Adara's back there and going to have all of the updates with us. We normally do the rundown.
They're repeating the music now, guys. They literally just played that You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet song again, which is kind of an interesting choice. If I get more, I'll let you know. The song before that was them telling us we're gonna see something amazing. Like, I definitely think they're trying to send some kind of message with this music. Hopefully the message will be Jensen Huang is backstage in a leather jacket, because right now, unfortunately, he's still not here and I have refreshed the stream.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to be in a leather jacket.
He's always in a leather jacket.
Let's just hope he is backstage.
I'd be a shock if he's not.
Wouldn't that be, if he's not there for some reason, okay.
Oh, you couldn't even...
I'm sure he's there.
Yeah, this wouldn't be like we joke about a Jack Ma being missing. If Jensen...
yeah, remember, Adara, do we have any like stats about like the last sort of time you had a a GTC conference maybe last year, what the stock did?
I mean, I can find out, but I will say and I mentioned this a couple of times now, GTC Washington, which was not last year's event, but it's the most recent GTC event we had. That was in, I believe, mid to late October. It wasn't so much Nvidia that moved as all the other companies Jensen mentioned. So he mentioned a stock and then it popped. He even got Caterpillar to move intraday with volume, and that never happens. So like, be aware, it's going to be more about the companies he mentions than Nvidia itself.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's, I was just trying to see if there was any, I agree 100%. So I'm long Nvidia. We just took a 10 cents on a piece of it, like literally 10%. There it goes again. We got it another piece. So we sort of gave you that trade to start with, that as soon as it breaks the high here, we want to go long. And there it is, man. Money, we're back. Money. Doesn't take long to spin it, eh? It's 210. So let's wait to see now what happens with NVDA. So I'm going to go long tech. Neil's going to be short oil, and that might be
I've had
Oxy. Yeah, I know you've had it. I'm just saying that might be another trade there to look at.
Well, you know what, we didn't mention oil.
I haven't even looked at oil, actually.
Should probably point out that Oxy, this is like the third time it's been like a VWAP short today. But if you look at USO, down 3.5 points at not the low of the day, but effectively the local bottoms here on oil futures are where we're sitting. So I am short Oxy off the volume weighted average price and looking for, Intel's still not really bouncing here. So yeah, it moved down when Nvidia went up. Okay, fine, but I can't seem to get this fill at VWAP here. Just gonna leave it in. It's just relative weakness for whatever reason. And then AMD, I don't know if we're gonna get some kind of a pullback, but there was support strong here at the 198 level on AMD. So I got some eyeballs on this one as well. Those are two chip names I'm looking at. I just feel like, the last few times we've had like these events, like the individual stock that's moving, I usually want to see the event start and then move into that. So we'll go to Adara whenever we get some news, which I do believe we are going to right now. Adara.
I still don't have any update on Jensen Huang, unfortunately. I do have some updates here with regards to oil, I guess. USO is on watch. We're still getting headlines out of the Middle East. Hearing Saudi Arabia intercepted 7 drones over its eastern region. Also, nothing massively market moving, but certainly of interest. SEC enforcement director reportedly going to be leaving the agency. They've only been in the job for apparently a matter of months. So we know SEC Canada be on watch specifically with crypto. Looks like the SEC enforcement director could be leaving the agency months after starting the job. Back to you.
Okay. All right. So not great sign there. Months after, and is almost out of there. That was SEC. What was it? SEC enforcement. Okay. Didn't put down too many penalties, I guess, and now is gone. And that's the thing about, not to say anything about lawyers, but it's like, if you don't have a case, you don't get paid. So some of these SEC people here,
if you're not finding
agency, they got to dig deep and find something wrong, and maybe he or she was unable to do that. So SEC, because the SEC fees you pay is on the sell side of the trade here all the time, and it's quite expensive. So.
Well, the good thing is,
of the government.
After a while, the good thing about the SEC fees, because they're not supposed to be, it's not supposed to be for profit. So we get ebbs and flows. They get a bunch of profit, then the SEC fee goes down, which is great and fantastic for traders, for sure. Let us know in the chat what else you guys might be watching. Ooh, 200s. DJK just said in the chat, NVIDIA 200 incoming, and then Conan Barbarian said,
that's right,
said 178. So we have differing opinions on that one. 200 or 178 first?
I think 200 is more likely, even though that's still 50. It's 2-1 against.
I was about to say that's not a fair comparison because one of those is $7 away, the other is literally twice as far away, unfortunately. But ball doesn't lie at this 175 has been gigantic support. You break through this 50 period, and there's lots of room to go. But you're more or less at that resistance spot that's been trouble. Like this morning, I said we need to break $188. I think that's the breakaway on NVIDIA through 188. Maybe it gets there this afternoon. I couldn't tell you. Maybe that, to me, that's the big level. It would have been suppose that'd be like last Tuesday's high, I guess. I think you get through that, and then we look absolutely golden. Just got to make sure I refresh my chat.
Good song. I'm going to go short USO here, underneath a little bit here. Just, we talked about this earlier. I had talked about maybe hearing some peaceful, Neil's also short Oxy, so this will work out for both of us.
Oh, here we go.
Just hearing some, hopefully, there it is. Israel and Iran. Okay, channel 13. Oh man, thank God it's not channel 12. I mean, I don't. But here we go to the down.
You're supposed to know who that is.
What the hell's channel 13?
Do you know who that is?
Do I? No, I mean that's what I'm saying. Thank God it's not channel 12. Yeah, okay. Well, so far so good. Then I'll put a little bit of a bid underneath this USO. You guys know like what we did last week. I mean, just because we're short USO. It's violent, violent by all violence. So I'll take a little bit out there for 20 cents as we go. It's probably will move a lot more than Oxy, so you got to be careful with the positions here for sure. But there it is. Okay, well, maybe, hey, man. I mean, if channel 13 is right there, then hopefully the story will be picked up by channels 14, 15, and 16, and then, the oil will start to go to the downside. But, yeah, I just want to take it. I was sort of thinking about this shelf right here. We broke it. Yeah, let's just wait to see if there's any sort of support down there. I mean, here we go, man. We just took Nvidia with all you, and there it goes upside. We also took Palantir as well, and that's going up to the upside. So far, so good, man. We'll get an 11s out here, and we're just trying to run the stock here, and we're in 2 positions. So we've got 3 positions. Nvidia long, which is working. I mean, we just got another piece out of that Nvidia trade. So I said to you guys at 2 o'clock, we're going long on the daybreak high. There's the daybreak high. We tweeted it out. So that's 30 cents in the money right there. We hear that news about channel 11 and downside play there for USO. So that's going to be good. Of course, channel 13. And the Palantir trade is what we've had all day. So all day, but I mean, started at 10:30. It's at the highs of the day as well. So here goes Palantir. We like that trade. I like this oil trade. So let's see how low can we go. I mean, if there is a break or some sort of a was it Israel and Iran there? Was that what it was, or was it U.S. Iran?
Israel.
Okay, it's Israel. So it's basically U.S. That's the same. We'll go here. Let's see if we get a 1. Okay, here it comes. It's really coming.
Keynote starting.
What about, that's okay. What about a 115? All right, now we're going down, man. We're already in the dollar club right now for USO. So, man, the printing doesn't stop, man. Whether it's Obi, Neil, whoever's here, we're making that trade. And there it goes. Nice trade right there. So it's another one. And then here we go. It's coming crashing in is the oil trade. So there it goes right now. Nice little take right there. $1 in the money on USO. All right, Adara, what you got for us?
Keynote with Jensen Huang is kicking off right now. They're just doing the intro sequence. A woman with a British accent is talking about tokens. So this keynote is set to kick off at any moment. I will keep you posted with any and all major pieces of news. But again, NVDA, Jensen Huang, GTC keynote, happening now.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. We're just still in the money. We're up real nice on Nvidia session highs right here. And for me, the story is going to be more about this oil because right now we're at $1.50 in the money. $1.40 in the money as it's coming right back in. So USO, oh boy, there it goes. Yes, sir. Nice little trade there, man. I hope you guys took this one, but we're both short oil right now. It's looking like it's going to be hopefully a good trade. I wonder if Obi's got this as well. Nice move to the downside right here for USO. Palantir is just a ho-hum, $2 in the money. USO is $1 in the money. That's $3. And then we just put this Nvidia trade on for you as well, and that's near the highs. So, yeah, man, things are going real well right now. We just got a piece out on Nvidia at 50s. So far, so good there. Nice move higher. Nvidia's keynote's about to begin, man. So hopefully some good talks coming.
Yeah, they just got this starting video going on, so we'll see what happens. We got our short into Intel in front of VWAP, just like the fact that it went opposite to Nvidia, and we got like a normal afternoon trade, which would be short VWAP if it's got this little bit of a trend down going. So that we're going to try to work for. Still nothing going on AMD though. AMD not breaking the high, not breaking back down into that VWAP. But do remember, like it is Nvidia's show, and you have to be ready. We're going to go back to Adair. We've got more updates on oil. It's probably the same story.
We do have, again, Channel 12 here reporting that the Foreign Minister here of Iran, Aragachi, and U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff have been texting in recent days. So again, it seems like more signs of potential negotiations here to end the tensions in Iran. Again, reports that you have text conversations in recent days between the Foreign Minister of Iran and U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff. They're currently welcoming Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, to the stage. So I'm going to focus on this keynote for you guys. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Adara. Yeah, I'll focus on that as well, I guess. I mean, we've just been getting out on all these moves, right? I mean, some more upside here for this trade. I mean, out 40 cents. We're happy. I mean, we've already done really well on Nvidia right into there. We're just going to see what happens now for Nvidia. We might as well just hold. I mean, our stop now could be 185 if we break that. So, so far so good. Oil, we covered about Was it about half? I have to go back and see how many shares we had in the beginning. Well, I don't know. I punched a couple times. Anyways, about half out right now on USO. I mean, it came right into this level, so that was good enough for us, man. That was a good part out down there. The first out was like 5%, because remember, it was like, oh, wow, it's 20 cents in the money, and then it was, whoops, collapsed through that level, and now it's retracing back upside a little bit. So, you know, despite there maybe being some sort of an agreement somewhere or easing pressures, we still want to make sure that you capture the money. Because, you know, like this can go any which way. So there you go. We get another fill there at 32, and we'll just sit here watching out for Nvidia. And, excuse me, Adara will come in with any sort of hints at what's going on with the, you know, other companies or so on and so forth who may be involved in this. But I'm just going to sit here and watch out for my positions, and we're getting more and more out, man. We're almost out of Palantir. That was a good move. We're long here, $2. I mean, right into the day's high again. We have to like Palantir. Actually, on that, I'm just going to convince myself and get some more out there at 14. So there it is right now. What up, Adara?
Sure, I already have an update here. INTCs, you can see, did a little bit of a wick higher here. Looks like it's Intel's Xeon 6 is being used as a host CPU for the Nvidia DGX Rubin NVL8 system. So Intel being used as a host CPU. I'm seeing that report come through now. Jensen Huang just starting the keynote address. Back to you.
It just wicked me out that VWAP trade and then slammed it right back in underneath VWAP. So I'm gonna jump right back. I'm usually a believer in like a sell the news kind of a thing here. So if it's a wick out, then I'm gonna give the stop, move the stop to 3 cents it went above, and just jump right back into it. So it'll be like up there at like 28. So we're back underneath VWAP there. I mean, ultimately that shouldn't, to me, why is that telling us something that we don't know? They've invested in them already, and Nvidia owns a stake. So it makes a lot of sense. That said, it looks like we're already heading right back in. So yeah, it got wicked out, and then we just jumped right back into the trade underneath that volume weighted average price. Looks like it's headed right back to where it was before. But the volume spike was legit the second that he mentioned it. And he's walking around, prancing around in his black, of course, leather jacket. What's interesting, though, is Oxy, for the first time, went the other way on us. So I've been shorting this one underneath the volume weighted average price. This time it breaks higher. So Oxy looks like it might be done. Fourth time, not a charm on Oxy. It's still down 0.6, but ultimately, you know, if that one starts going, that's the kind of news that to me should have taken us back into the lows. And when it doesn't, I'll move away from that. We're sitting in that one before we came in anyways. But Intel, again, to me, not a surprise. I think we expected to hear some positive things, and it looks like they are going to sell the news. It's unfortunate. It did wick out there. We jumped back into the trade, looking for the low here at 47.5 like we did before, earlier in the day, or I guess it would have been after the open. But we'll look for a bounce there as first move is to the downside. Well, actually a stop out upside, but back into the downside here for Intel specifically. I haven't tracked AMD. My guess is it's probably not doing anything. But yeah, the first name got dropped, drops the stock as well.
Yeah, I just got some more out here at 30 on Nvidia. Like, I'm not sure if it was. I mean, it might be. I said this earlier. It might be like a sell the news kind of event where, you know, he's on and that's nice, and you know, all kind of roads lead back to Nvidia. And if they're not going to bring up anything too crazy, we could see some more downside plays. But as I said, man, my stop is. I'm still going to use. Well, what are we long at? 09s. Yeah, I mean, we could stop out on another day break there, but I think that might be quick. Anything could happen at any time. That's at 06s. Let's just go to 89s, all right? I mean, we could stop out down there. Do I have another? No, I didn't even put my stop in yet. So, okay, I was going to average in. Like, if this went wrong, remember, I was going to average in all the way down here and then use the 200 period. But now that sort of the conference has now started, we can see about getting a little bit more longer down here. But I don't know if technicals will matter that much, especially when we're sitting here talking about news. So, like, if it drops, it drops. If it rips, it rips. We're already long. We'll have our stop. So 184.89. I probably won't really reload this too much. If we do, we could put a bid somewhere to think about a reload. But I don't know. I'm gonna wait back on that one. Yeah, USO. I mean, this is gonna be a good trade, I think. But who knows? Like, we did hear that was maybe, you know, something going on here between Iran and Israel, according to Channel 13. You know, would like to make it up the channel list a little bit here, and if we can get going on some more media coverage, maybe that will spike down the price of oil. This is just light crude oil right here. I don't have a Brent I mean, not that I know of. I don't.
We can, unless it's trading.
Oh, we can use TradingView or something like that. Yeah, but for right now, this is what we have. So you can see Brent light sweet crude down 5%, very similar to Brent. So, but I think it's still around 100 or 99 bucks maybe Brent crude. But downside there for oil right now, heading into that story. So we've got $1 on that one. So we'll hit $1 club or so. We had more. We had $2. But for right now, downside. Yeah, we are hearing more. Yeah, Intel Xeon 6 is being used. So we sort of know that a little bit about Intel, as we've already dropped that story. But yeah, more volume picking up on Intel right now. As you can see, that's the first discussed sort of name outside of the norm here so far. They're falling. I don't really know. I mean, well, it's strange, right? Because like they're using them.
I don't know that it's that strange because, again, this is a relationship we already know about. So I think you might have sort of expected a little bit of this. Ultimately, it went to target there, bounced off that 47.50. So I trailed out of that one, VWAP to 47.50. I'll look for potential retrace, like put in another lower high or consolidation and jump back into the trade. But I think this could be simply a case of, well, you never know who's going to get name dropped, but the expectation is that Intel would be. And then because it was, sell the news. Effectively is what I think is happening here. So if we get another pop, I'd look to fade it again. AMD still not really doing much of anything. I had some eyes on CoreWeave as well. Just thought that could be on the move. It is. It's been trend up. Looks like it's following Nvidia a bit. But if AMD doesn't start doing some things, this is a name that I might also be watching out for. Just want to see where that extra volatility might be because of the event. So we've already taken Intel once. We'll wait for another chance to get in there again if we can. Lyndon Meyer in the chat just says, it's time to short Amazon. Why are we picking on Amazon during NVIDIA's event? Amazon, schmamazon. Let it break highs. Let it be a beast. The market's moving higher as well. But I don't know what would compel anybody right now to take a look at, hey, look at one of the strongest names that's literally breaking out of Friday's highs before the market's even going, and fade that one. So I wouldn't be necessarily there. Give me something under VWAP. Give me something that looks relatively weak. We'll probably try to jump back into like an Intel or something, which A, has got a reason to be moving, and B, at least it's got some relative weakness in that bad boy. So yeah, we'll keep our ear to the ground. Like nothing too crazy from Jensen early on. But I think that's sort of to be expected. I think it was usually when we get those random, the companies you're not expecting name drop, that'll be a little bit later on.
Oh man, I'm saying here on Twitter, oh Palantir, how I love to trade you so. Palantir just still going higher, man. Just breaking out right here again into the day's high. We're going to take a piece out there. We've got the low right there at 1040. We waited for it. We got it. USO now $1 in the money. Nvidia's coming back. We actually have about half left of Nvidia. I may just take some out. Palantir's, we'll just let that one cruise for a minute. I'm going to take out, oh, that's still Palantir. I'm going to take out a little bit more of Nvidia here and go over to Adara, see what she's up to.
Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang taking us all on a stroll down memory lane pretty much so far. You're talking about 20, 25 years in the history. Oh, your parents all bought you all G-Forces and now you became amazing computer sciences and now you're a real Nvidia customer. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing too much happening here. It's very much a departure from the very fast-paced event that we had at that GTC Washington event last fall. However, I also want to clarify here with this Intel announcement. Now, I mentioned earlier, I said I was seeing reports of this Xeon 6 announcement. Jensen Huang did not mention it, right? So this was posted on Intel's website. So with that in mind, if Jensen Huang does mention this Intel collaboration, that could be of note. But once again, Intel posting on their website that their Intel Xeon 6 is going to be used as the processor for NVIDIA's DGX Rubin NVL8 system. Back to you.
They're not going to lie about that. I mean, just because Jensen doesn't say it, like if Intel says they're using it, NVIDIA owns part of the company. Let's be real. They made an investment there, so we expect that to be true. I just saw in the chat some people mentioning ASTS is moving. Don't know why, but that's a pretty good V-shaped recovery for assets. Worth keeping an eye on this, especially if it can retake that 90 level that it failed in the morning. But just keeping us kind of a side look on it. But Intel's starting to creep back up here. So on that headline, you know, I guess it got sold a little bit, bouncing off morning support. Let's see if it gets back into VWAP for a little bit of round two action here for Intel. Still nothing crazy with AMD. And as we were mentioning, it was Amazon there was the one that was breaking the high of the day just now. So sometimes everyone's looking at the chips and good old-fashioned Amazon decides, nah, we're just going to take out the highs while you're not even paying attention to us. That said, for Amazon, it's not that much of a move. All we've done is retrace Friday's move. You got to get and hold above. If you close above 211 on a 15-minute candle, then you start to look a little bit better. But you've had a lot of selling, not even just from Friday, but on Thursday as well. There was selling in that 211 area. So a good chance for Amazon to continue here while everyone else has been focused on Jensen and the chip names. You have some strength going in other places. Doesn't seem like much of a pop happening off that 47.5 on Intel. It got to about the mid-60s, 70s. I don't know if we're going to get to VWAP again. If we just consolidate down here, I might just reload in the consolidation as opposed to trying to get a pop back all the way to the highs.
Yeah, I got stopped out on a break of, excuse me, 185 on Nvidia. We can review that in a second. But yeah, always be thankful. You're right, man. Right now, the Dixie, the US dollar, is coming to the downside. Normally, a weak dollar is a tailwind for big stocks, right? I mean, especially for some of the names that I'm trading, you know, Nasdaq names and all the names that I'm in, basically. I mean, US oil will be in the middle of a different story when this is happening. But you get a nice move to the downside right there. Generally speaking, you know, more of a risk appetite for stocks as US dollar comes down, people looking to invest and put their money to work. So hopefully a weak US dollar gives the Nasdaq a little bit of a move higher here. As you can see, we are close enough anyways, today's high on Nasdaq. Not much going on. I mean, it's still 2:30, so it's got an hour and a half to go until the end of the day. But the US dollar now making that move, and we already seen it bounce off of 100. So nice to the downside here, 99.70 for the USD. You know we'll be watching out for that. That is for sure. Crude oil now settles down. It's finished now, 93.50. It's over with. But let's go over to Adair. What's up?
More oil headlines, though, here. Sean, fire reported at Abu Dhabi's Shah oil field. Apparently, the response is underway. If I get more details, I'll let you know. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang announcing their next generation of graphics technology called neural rendering. Back to you.
I was just saying to Neil, none of this really matters. They're either opening the Straits of Hormuz or they're not. A fire is obviously
until they say they are
dramatic, but yeah, you're not seeing anything happening here to the price of oil. I mean, a fire would create more scarcity for oil prices. So yeah, maybe that story does create a little upside play there for oil, and we're sort of already seeing that. We've just been covering, like, for some reason it didn't want to break 115. This is just U.S. oil. We just talked about, this is just a equity to trade oil. So, you know, there's oil bouncing. It's the same level. Looks like we held around $93 there on that move down. So on a potential easing of tensions, as we heard there, between Iran and Israel, oil looked like it was starting to tick down, and we took the short, well, you know, right around here. I'll show you on U.S. oil. It's only 30 cents in the money right now. Right there, the second sort of loop down. We wind up taking that short. And I was really going to take it against the 50 period, but we can stop out if we get stopped out around our price, 116. We might as well just put that in right now. It was going to be a little bit higher before, but I'm just going to stop out at 116. You know, we've already put the money in our pocket, and, you know, just doing that math, that will still be very positive, even if we get stopped out there. I mean, imagine our stop out right here is 14 cents. We've already taken about $1 and change on a big piece right there. And the reason why we got out there was, again, not rocket science, just right into those levels. You can see the same thing on Palantir. And look at Nvidia, man. We got out of that one, which is probably a good sign. That's starting to go down. So yeah, a drone attack causing that fire. I am bidding 34s, so maybe if that comes down, we'll be able to get that fill. But right now, I'm long Palantir, short oil. So I'm pretty happy with those positions. Derry, you got something else?
Yeah, we had Jensen Huang naming a whole bunch of companies, I guess, that are using some of their visual graphics or data here, structured data. Those were Snowflake, Databricks, which of course isn't publicly traded, Microsoft Azure, Amazon EMR, and Google Cloud. So again, all these reactions very different. You've got Amazon and Microsoft at highs of day. Google kind of just chopping around here, and same with Snowflake. But again, the Jensen Huang starts naming companies portion of the keynote has begun. Back to you.
Yeah, but like Snow gave up the move that it made almost instantly. Like there was, like it spiked $1.50 on Snowflake, and then just like you saw with Intel, like the first move was up, and then the move is right back in, and now not doing much of anything. So no continuation, at least for this. I think what you're hoping for is Well, you're probably looking for like a smaller company that gets a bit of a nod, sort of out of nowhere, to maybe sustain a move. Like I'm talking some kind of a small cap or a mid cap. I don't know if Snowflake is going to cut
or like
it
a new name,
or something we just haven't heard from. Yeah,
just all of a sudden like Lyft isn't interested, or
Lyft out of nowhere.
I don't know. I mean, Uber. I mean, these guys are already. I think they've already been mentioned many times. But maybe, yeah, like you're saying, a lesser known name like a Big Bear AI.
That would, to that point, that would be exactly the kind of thing you're looking for. Snowflake, unfortunately, doing nothing. Intel seemingly still going down. So yeah, that bounce off 4750 didn't really materialize at all. This has a chance to go red. I'd say it's an outside chance to be able to go red, but I'd still look for some kind of a consolidation, or it just sets up a trend off of this news where we got stopped out here, and then there was the move there on the secondary push. So look for like a new trend line to form, and then maybe it bounces to retest the trend line that I just drew. So I'm going to go with that. Maybe stick with some Intel there. Someone in the chat was looking at something that I just noticed as well. Well, silver was bouncing higher, and I do think it's looking like a bit of a scalp here. I don't know whether you're going to get VWAP, but I suppose with some of the weakness that we've seen recently in SLV, I mean, you look at Friday. Heck, let's just zoom out a little bit here. You look at not just Friday, but the back end of the week. This is a recovery day for SLV with room to resistance at 74 still. So I think I even wrote down on my iPad 74, and there was never a breakout at that price. So yeah, it's resistance, but any kind of a bounce off of the volume weighted average price before you get there, or just buy the dips on trend in SLV looks pretty good. Here's we hunt for names, and we go back to Adair for another update.
IBM spiking. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang just said IBM is going to be, I guess, incorporating their Watson X data with this, one of their CUDA platforms. So again, Watson integration here announced by Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia for IBM. IBM did have a nice spike here into new highs of day. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I see that here with Nvidia and IBM. And yeah, there's a spike. I mean, again, the volume is not like it's huge here on some of these moves, but it does make it sleepy into a nice little volume push up there. I'm just going to watch how some of these plays actually happen, because I almost think like I should be fading the tops of all of these, to be honest with you. So that's kind of like what I'm looking at right now to see if we can settle down, and then maybe just be like, oh yeah, of course they're doing a deal with IBM, back down. So that would be something that I'm sort of thinking about right now, out of the side of my head, top of my head, right there, that we could fade any of these moves. I mean, we saw that little play there with Snowflake. That went up and down again as well, right? I mean, I don't know what it's doing the second. Yeah, but up and then back down.
Like
you could have caught $1 there. Same kind of thing with, I believe, anyways. I mean, Neil was already on Intel, so you get a little bit of a spike and then downside there. The market's doing absolutely nothing. It's almost like it's a death wish for Jensen to mention you. He's also mentioning his own company, and you can see that's nothing but love to the downside as well. So it seems like there is a little bit of fade happening with this Nvidia GTC conference, but it's kind of putting it right back into a nice little spot there for us, a warm, cozy spot called VWAP right now for NVDA. I'm not going to trade this as if it's a normal day, so I'm not going to sit there and take this trade, but this is not a bad area. If you're short, maybe think about covering. I mean, you're in between the 200 and VWAP on a strong stock. That's normally a go spot for the long for me, so I actually think that there's a good possibility for that to last. So we'll have to wait. Nothing going on USO. Everyone was looking at Amazon. We were short that earlier in the day and got out, thankfully, as Amazon's at the highs of the day, 211 and change. So yeah, it looks like everything's fine, man. We're $2 in on Palantir and 50 cents here on USO, and not really looking to do much reloading right here, right now. What's up, Adara?
Dell on watch here. Now, we already knew, we had seen some reports ahead of time that Dell was likely going to announce something here with Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang. Looks like it's going to be this Dell AI data platform that does integrate some of Nvidia's QVS or some of these CUDA platforms. So yeah, again, Dell AI platform being announced here by Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, during his GTC 2026 keynote. As you can see, we did have a brief spike into intraday highs for Dell.
You know what? Dell is actually, this one looks good on the daily here for Dell. Like, this is an actual breakout. It's a breakout of a bull flag, and has pretty much everything with the higher low in here. Had a great week last week. You had follow through here today after a dip on Friday that reversed the entire move. We got a V shape on Friday, and then you get to follow through here today, up 3.5 points. I like I don't love the fact that every single thing that's gotten a mention hasn't been able to hold the spike. No. So this isn't any different. It made a fresh high on that news, and it's right back to where it was before. So I don't necessarily think this is a chase it move here, but I think Dell is setting up that if it holds 154, like as long as we close above 154, this could be a bit of a continuation play. Wow, silver is not stopping for anybody. So much for working the trend line on silver. SLV could, well, that's Amex. SLV could already be getting to 74 without a retest of the trend line. So there it is from VWAP. There's the higher lows. I'm just sitting out in front of that trend line. So any dip into it, we're going to try to pick up. Intel still refuses to do much of a bounce. So if I don't get a bounce on it, the only way to be able to play is to play under, like I said, underneath this trend line that formed. Now it's starting to give me 47.33. So as it calms down, it'll give me a re-entry point as long as we hold under the trend line, and then I can short it to that. So yes, so far not so good if you get that mention. But at least like Dell stands out. I was looking at IBM. I didn't really, like I own IBM shares, but I didn't love that daily chart as much as I would like that Dell chart, which is breaking out. IBM still, what's a word I want to say? It's still feeling the aftershocks of, some of the clawed fallout, right, that it got a couple of weeks ago. And it's had a bounce, but it's still feeling some of the aftershocks of that, and Dell looking a little more constructive. Adara?
Worth mentioning here, another company that was just name dropped by Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang during the keynote, GeoOGL, as well as SNAP, Snap. So I'm going to go over some of the companies that have been mentioned so far by Jensen Huang. We had IBM, a Watson and Nvidia integration was announced here, so that's going to be pushing higher. We also had Amazon's EMR was mentioned earlier. They're still near intraday highs. Microsoft's Azure and Snowflake, as well as Databricks, which is, of course, not publicly traded, but SNOW, by far the most negatively performing of all of these. Back to you.
Same speed. Yeah, I was going to say, maybe breaking the top, once it settles down, there goes IBM again right now. So I was just kind of thinking, to do something, we're always going to be, we were just saying, we're going to be late to, making the exact trade that you want. You're never going to be able to buy this 250. That's not going to happen. So you got to kind of try. This is 2 5-minute bars back to back closing. Oh, I don't need this. Closing higher right now on Nvidia, on IBM on the Nvidia story. And then you look back over here. We've already been up to this level, right? This was the 11th, so just a couple days ago last week. We are already up here. So it's just kind of like getting rid of all this garbage. So I do think that a long is back to 250.50, something like that might be okay for this. Yes, Adara?
So Jensen Huang just announced they're going to be bringing OpenAI to AWS. So keep an eye here on AMZN. They're going to be bringing OpenAI to AWS. Again, other companies that partnerships were announced. IBM, which is still moving higher here. This is going to be apparently a data processing partnership. They're, I think, probably performing the best here. But Dell also with their AI platform announcement did briefly spike higher.
Yeah, Dell's now red since that announcement. So go figure on that one. Yeah, right. Okay. IBM is looking much better, but Dell is literally lower than it was a couple of seconds ago. Snapchat didn't really move anywhere, but Amazon's been a beast, and that just continues to go. So look, we'll slap this on it just so you can see. Amazon was already strong, and it's just continuing. So if we get the dip in silver on trend, fair enough. Intel did finally pop and give a shot at the trend line, so I am on the offer as the trend line from when the event started and when there was that first mention has just been tagged. Oh, we just got filled, so I can just show you here. So top, there's the lower high. It just kind of tagged the trend line there, so I kind of jumped in on the way back down. Stop goes to the prior high, and then we'll look for that to get back into the lows. Silver going, but Amazon in a different direction is just straight trending up. So you slap that on the 3-minute and say, well, you're not really doing anything you weren't doing before. And if you happen to get this OpenAI mention, it can't necessarily be bad news. Let's see if this can bounce off the trend line for a bit of a dip by in Amazon, up a couple of points already today. Looking good.
Yeah, Amazon's looking pretty good here as well. I mean, I'm just trying to find through the scanners. I mean, nothing's really hitting at all. We can have a quick look at Netflix here, see what's going on there. We are a day after the Oscars. Netflix kind of just hovering around. I just got to like a note that it's near that VWAP, but again, it's not really giving us anything there. Nothing too exciting. We can go over and have a quick look at the stock visualizer one more time here to see what stocks you guys are wanting us to talk about. Maybe we can reset this and see if there's anything that's happening intraday. So HIMS, OB was trading a lot of that last week. That could be a trade. Nvidia's down to 184.30 now. It's actually getting lower. Microsoft could potentially breaking through that $400 mark. I don't love that. Nebius, that WNW could be something. And we'll go over to Adair and see what she's up to.
A name that I know Sean was trading earlier today, ORCL, now also getting the Nvidia name drop. Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, saying during this GTC conference that they were apparently the first AI customer of Oracle, and they actually explained to Oracle how all this AI stuff works. So, I mean, believe that if you will, ORCL is pushing higher here as it becomes the latest beneficiary of the Jensen Huang name drop. Back to you.
Okay, we can have a quick look at Oracle. I was going to look at 8Co holding ORBS maybe, but there's a nice bump up. Yeah, so we have already cleaned Oracle out pretty good, man. We went long right there near the bottom at that time. And then nice little upside play into 157.50, swooping down, now back upside here as, Jensen name drops Oracle in there as well, but yes.
Palantir ontology platform with Dell and Nvidia, that also just got mentioned. PLTR on the move.
Oh man, all I can do is laugh because I already love this stock, and there goes Palantir right there. Now it's 225 in the money, so we'll just go thank you for that one. As there goes I mean, we already know that Palantir is the one, so hopefully it just keeps on doing this. Nice upside play right there for Palantir. Now $2.30 in the money as we cash out on that move up, and we just follow the yellow brick road, right? I mean, the path has been let it announce something about you, get that bump, and take it out when that happens. So that's what we're doing right there on Palantir. We'll take another piece out, PLTR.
Yeah, and you said you were looking at the visualizer for, I believe it was Orbs, I believe, ORBS. 8Co? Was it Orbs?
Orbs, that's what it is.
It was Orbs.
Yeah. Throwing down a dollar break.
Well, it's 110 that I'd be worried about this one trying to hold on to. Like, there was volume all day long, but now the volume's so low, I'd be worried about a breakdown down through like 110 into that dollar level potentially on Orbco or 8Co holdings. 8Co holdings. But SLV is trying to come back into that trend line. So silver, I don't know the timing of it, but it was like this spike was kind of around when you got that oil headline. So it was sort of similar when you got that move down in oil. It was already bouncing off VWAP, but we'll play it off the trend here and see if it wants to continue. So SLV, we're just looking for it to get to 74 at this point. It's at about 73.5 right now. And to get to that 74 from the morning is technically this was like right at 9:30, it wicked that high at 74, and then Friday afternoon was a bit of resistance as well. Playing sure the trend line is going to work for us here because I want to be with the trend and not necessarily fighting it here on SLV. Amazon didn't really do much of anything.
They're all not doing much. Palantir even retraced off of that news.
Amazon's still, it's doing what it was doing before. So like it's distinctly different in that regard. It's kind of making some fresh highs, but the volume spike already starting to taper off a little bit here. Like there hasn't been anything that really sustained. Although round 2 of Intel, like maybe this one's done going down. I don't know, it's a relatively tight stop in here, but that was the trend line was a re-entry anyways. And if it's gonna break the trend line, I'll wait for it to get to VWAP for another trade. So we'll try to sniper this one again if we can. Nothing going too crazy on these Nvidia headlines, to be real with you. Amazon, you make the argument Amazon's doing the best, but Amazon was already going up before any of this. So it's hard to give it that credit.
I just want to say, like, we haven't talked about oil in a couple of minutes, but I'm just going to take another bid right here as we fall back in between the 25 and the 50. I mean, I think 115 for US, so I might as well just sit there, take another fill. 115.11s I'm sitting at right now. And then if we drop too much lower than that, like the reason why I'm sitting there is just that's that 115 shelf a little bit right there, right? And so here's USO is now oil is now, closed at NYMEX. So, the trading, the volumes there's your 230 volume spike right at the end of the day, but it's still there's still an after hours and there's still a market. So it's going to be trading right now. The settlement is finished at 230, and now we'll wait for an extended hours trade on CL contract, right? So the light sweet crude down to $94 and change trying to go lower. Yeah, that Orbs was a good little look there. We've been looking at this the last couple of days. It was one of the leaders of volume while you were gone. Almost every day it was like 100 million plus. And you could just see right here, all the way to the downside, trying to hold that dollar, breaks through it again here today, up to $1.23. So doing quite well today. And if you try to buy those dips through $1, you've been good on ORBS. And then before I go to Adara, I just want to go check out Tesla real quick because, again, you know, the robot man is on stage. And another one, his friend Elon Musk, another robot man, should be excited about anything he talks about. Last time I remember Adara, and I think this was a big mover for Tesla, if you remember that he said that Tesla had the best stack there, the AI stack. So we can hear if that winds up happening again for Tesla shareholders, maybe we get a bump as well. Watch out for 396.50, potential low there for Tesla. Breaking through there might give us a trade as well. But yeah, not much going on. Let's go see if Adara has another update.
Yeah, and it's funny too, that comment he made about Tesla was actually in a radio interview or rather, Bloomberg interview or something. So not even this type of context either. So it'll be interesting to see if he does make that kind of announcement. I do think though, Sean, he's focusing on partners right now. I do want to talk here about USO because I am seeing reports from the Iran Observer. So of course, this is going to be a local Iranian news source. They're citing an Iran official saying that the war will not end until a long-term deterrence is established. So again, sounds like some peace could be a little ways off in Iran. Back to you.
A long-term deterrent is established. Yeah, well, there's no such thing as a deterrent in some regard because, well, there's only one, and everyone knows what that is, unfortunately. If we're being real about it for a second. There was also that, excuse the pun here, but that other small capper from this morning just went off the top ropes and is dying a very, very long death. But the reason I bring up WNW is it's right where this made the move in the pre-market, or like it was right off the open, and the pre-market was a little bit lower. But it's actually bouncing off this 250. So if you see volume start to spike, there's a bit of a potential dead cat bounce here for that WNW. I call it the wrestling stock because we were joking about someone said it sounds more like a wrestling company than the MyWoo Technology Company Limited or whatever the heck it actually is. We'll see. But if I start to see that one, and it is starting to pick up in volume as we speak, but if it starts to break out above that 3, I think there's a potential for a secondary bounce over in that play. We'll see if that one's going to get going. I want to find some small cappers that have a chance to really start to pick up or do something in the afternoon. Nothing's really, you said nothing's hitting your scanner. Nothing is hitting mine either that I recognize. It's all big cap tech names for the most part, and even those aren't doing much of anything. You know, like it'll be Nvidia and Tesla and AMD and Intel and Palantir and Amazon. And
yeah, I mean, Netflix I have hitting mine, but
that's pretty much
VWAP,
it.
That WNW.
Netflix is a VWAP?
Well, it's underneath it, but it's just
I don't know if that should have been a sell.
Hovering around it.
When it got to $100.
Yeah, I mean, it was right there. There could have been something about that.
It was not a bad place to ring the register if you bought the 80s, but I don't know, I did.
Polymarket on Hood. There's just some bets about poly markets and stuff like that. I mean, I think like if you're going to look at Robinhood, I don't know exactly what the poly market or Kalshi or anything like that integrated with Robinhood. But yeah, just thinking about, bets about this conflict or anything like that being over anytime soon. Like Robinhood right now just seems to be, downside there. I am a little bit worried about all this gambling and everything and the government getting involved. I mean, we know they don't necessarily like it. When people are sitting there losing their money on their couches late at night. But that's what's been happening, apparently. The struggle is real. It's like male between like 18 to 35 or something, really getting worked on DraftKings and on Polymarket and Kalshi and all that. So
not much of a surprise.
Just be careful of what you're doing there. You can bet on anything, right? You bet on like literally. So some people there last night probably betting on Oscars, which would probably be fun. To do that, but make sure you're doing it for fun, not for income. That will never work out well. But all right, yeah, Rob.
House not going to lose, man.
Yeah, exactly. The house will not lose. But nice downside play there for Robinhood today. Look at that bounce level, $74. Like boom, boom, boom. This is the kind of pattern that you're looking for. You just, it held it there pretty nicely on, volume in the morning, so we can kind of respect that. Comes right in, like sharply in, and almost again looks like it stops almost right on a dime, and then this sharp pull back down again stops at $74. So I think if you're looking to, and I've said maybe getting involved with a Robinhood, What about $74 now? That's like back-to-back days or back-to-back opportunities today where we held $74. Now, I don't know what that looks like on the longer time, but just for today, 74. Yeah, we were underneath it there on Friday. But yeah, this is a decent little level there for Robinhood. I mean, I'm into SoFi already, but if you like the stock, or you like the space, maybe you can get involved. And, you know, DraftKings, I think, is a little bit of a better play than Robinhood, but just for the gambling side of things. But yeah, I'm just a little worried. Like, I don't know. I know that right now, all this stuff is regulated and, you know, the government's cool with it. At any given time, man, I don't know, the rug can get pulled from a lot of these gambling companies. So I just worry about that. But, you know, as long as you're trading in and out, I think you're fine. DraftKings had a nice bottom there at $21, all the way back to 26. So nice little day there. I do worry about the rug pull on some of these businesses.
Well, the one thing about Hood, and I know Hood's probably it's not any kind of a pure play for the prediction markets at all. But if you look at where it's come back from on the monthly, this is a pretty big month for Robinhood. Like 4 big red months off the highs. Even just putting a sideways or consolidated would look pretty good. But on the weekly chart, it's already, here we go, e-signal. On the weekly chart, it's already made a nice consolidation. Now, I had some money set aside that I was going to go into SoFi, and I put like 20% of that into Robinhood. Just wanted to get into Robinhood. So I'm in this one myself for the first time ever off this consolidation. But I wouldn't be surprised if it broke lower. But it's that 60 to 63 level, like this prior high before. That's where I'd look for another leg in here on Robinhood. Still downward trending, but I like the fact that you're getting a bit of a bounce. Like, you know, Bitcoin's back over 73. What are we at right now? Actually, we're at 74, so 73.9. So you're getting a nice bounce in Bitcoin. So some of that weakness that brought Robinhood down, I think, is abating just a little bit here. I think it'll be worth it in the long run here with Robinhood. So you're seeing, what do we got there? Showing some nice graphics off as they put in the top corner of the presentation.
Oh, yeah. Molecules. Who knows what's going on there? I'm trying to predict what that next business is going to be. Is that Gorilla Glass? Maybe we'll take some Corning. Dragon Ball Z, maybe some sort of a agreement there. Ooh, okay. Here we go. Here's some car action going on. It doesn't look like a Tesla to me. But all right. So Dara, what exactly is happening right now?
Talking about some kind of optimization platform. I mean, I have been kind of just letting the videos play because a lot of the explanations happen after the videos. But it's like he's calling it co-opt, which is a fun pun, I guess, for co-opt optimization. He did mention robotics a bit. I checked some of those stocks. They weren't moving. Like Serve was already near highs of days. So yeah, I mean, things are happening as of right now. But to avoid bogging you guys down, because he's talked a lot, I'm focusing more on things that are actually market moving or related.
Okay. All right, well, thanks, we appreciate that. Yeah, so get ready for that. Like anything that's being updated there, Dara will give it all to us. And useless for us to sit here and try to figure out what exactly is going on. So we want to thank Dara for her constant updates there with the Nvidia GTC conference. And I mean, we went long early on it, man, and made money, you know, and then got out. And that was obviously a good out, as we've just been falling ever since this man took the stage. So I don't really know what to expect here, but other than it looks like we're going lower right now with Nvidia, right? And so the whole space, I like, it's moving much more aggressively here than the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq's just simply down, just breaking through the 50 period right now. You've broken through the 200 and clean through VWAP on Nvidia as it wants to get down. So yeah, not super exciting there. Did Tesla wind up finally breaking that little shelf? No, it's actually going upside, going a little opposite right there. We did see Amazon, they had some little bit of a bump there with AWS. Mention, and that's starting to go upside a little bit, taking out this 50 period moving average and just riding it all the way up. That's this pink line. 25 period on a 1 minute chart is gray.
Oh, losing trend.
So that's trying to do something. I mean, is it the whole space? Because is AMD also, or is it, yeah, okay. So AMD's also through VWAP and going lower right now. So I guess there's nothing super sexy or anything about this conference, and that's kind of what you're waiting for. Oh, I did get out of, oh no, I did not yet. Okay, so before we go out to a dare, just 153 break right there. I'm going to get out of half of what I've left of Palantir. Just want to bring that to your attention. What's up, Adair?
Yeah, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang just said everything in that video we just saw was a simulation. So he said none of it was animated. It was all some kind of AI or robotic. So interesting stuff here. We do have more coming from this Jensen Huang keynote speech at GTC 2026. I did just want to mention that. He also mentioned earlier, too, that he sees robotics as a $50 trillion industry and that there will be 110 robots at this year's GTC 2026 conference. Back to you.
110 robots? Is that a lot?
I don't know whether that's going to be a lot. I can tell you this much. There are people that are. I ran into a family from Michigan, and we were sort of chatting while the kids were playing in a playground, and the topic of Tesla came up. Yeah. I was like, I don't know, you have a robot? And the guy was in sales, and I don't know how much money he makes or whatever, but it seemed like, a couple of kids, like, whatever, like regular sort of middle class families. Like, yeah, that would be really, really cool. He's like, would you ever own a Tesla? He's like, no. I'm like, yeah, but you'd get the robot? He's like, yeah, I'd be interested. So someone who doesn't even own Tesla, weirdly, I didn't see a lot of Teslas in Florida, which surprised me.
Yeah, I don't know. That surprised me.
I don't know. I felt like I might have seen 5. That's one Cybertruck, and maybe 5. It was weird. Or maybe just my eye for them is not what it used to be. Like, it used to stand out, and now I'm just not noticing it anymore.
Yeah, it's like the opposite for me. Once I own one, now I see them everywhere.
Oh, I see them here everywhere. There's more in my neighborhood than I saw for an entire week in Florida. Dead serious. But anyways, he thought it was pretty cool. He's like, well, yeah. But then I sort of said, well, what price point are we talking about? Because like that 60, 70,000, but if it was 20,000, he's like, yeah, that'd be more in the pocket if they get down there. And when we were looking at it online for the reservations, like they had all the different levels, and ultimately, I don't know what it's going to eventually come out at, but I do think it is the future. But Tesla not really moving around a heck of a lot. Silver, it's trying to bounce off that trend line. That prior bar here is about 73 1/3, so it just held that for support. Again, we'll look to see if it gets back up to that 74. Nothing crazy is happening, though. Almost every single one of the moves that we were all excited. Oops. Silver's on SLV's on the Amex. IBM obviously is not. IBM is now underneath where this all started. So it broke out, got to 252 from 250. It's at 249 and a half. So I'd say big time disappointment there for IBM. Snow right back to where it was before, pretty much a nothing burger. You had Dell, which was mentioned. Dell at least flat. So Dell up 3.5 points here, but at least it's flat, not doing any worse than it was here before. And then specifically Nvidia on its own, under VWAP, still making some fresh flows here, not really catching any kind of a bid. What it does give us, though, is the longer it holds this downtrend in Nvidia, you might just be able to do something like this. So we came on at 2 o'clock, it started, just work that trend, and if eventually it can break the downward trend, maybe there's like a scalp long into VWAP or a little bit higher here in Nvidia. But I'd say disappointment on this event. Like nothing's getting that sustained pop that we want to be able to see here with this conference. Well, not conference, a presentation going on. It's still just, Jensen giving his thoughts. And maybe this is where we're at. Like it's still sell the news more than anything else.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that one. I mean, the robot thing is still a minute away. I mean, I think that before anybody gets their hands on it inside of a residential area. I think right now the robot story for me is just like the logistics side, packaging, shipping, things like that we see at Amazon. All right, we just got 115.11. We told you we were sitting at 115.11. We'll take that. And then we get a little bit of a bump off of 115. So I'm just going to basically just start scalping out USO, which we've been doing. It doesn't look like we're going to get a lower move or anything anytime soon on this name. We did get out of half of our Palantir. Now we just have a small piece left. Let's wait to see what happens. Breaking through 153. We're out a little bit there on PLTR. What's up, Adara?
I do have to mention here NVIDIA, but this NVIDIA headline doesn't have anything to do with GTC 2026. Wall Street Journal reporting that Reflection AI, a startup backed by NVIDIA, is going to be spending billions of dollars in a Korea data center to combat China. Why? Of course, to combat China. So again, yeah, keep an eye here. NVIDIA, non-keynote related news. And I think this story might be interesting here to traders. Now, we know we've talked a lot about when are we going to be getting that 24/5 equity trading. Well, reportedly, the CBOE has filed a proposal with the SEC to launch near 24/5 U.S. equity trading. They're trying to launch this by the end of this year, December 2026.
Very much there, Adara. And look, whether it's keynote events like this or whether it's all the headlines that we're seeing overseas, volatility creates movement. And for sophisticated traders, movement creates opportunity. Beta Pro by Globex offers Canada's first and the longest running suite of leveraged and inverse ETFs, built for sophisticated investors who understand the risk of leverage and the importance of precision. Its triple leveraged bull and bear ETFs tied to the Nasdaq 100 index are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset US dollar exposure back to the Canadian dollar. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategy, objectives, and risk profile. Trade tactically. Learn more at betapro.ca. You can scan the QR code you see out in front of you. I want to thank them for sponsoring this part of the show. We did see Power Hour hit through, as that was about a few minutes ago. We jumped into Power Hour, but the power is not with SLV. It holds trend, but then broke the prior bar from the trend line bounce. So still SLV not really going. Of course, Intel's now another, man, Intel just keeps on falling. You got to be kidding me. Intel now down at 46.7. Maybe it is going to go red. It has been an every single thing that has been mentioned in contact with Nvidia. This was actually Intel making an announcement, not actually Jensen and Huang. But all these names are heading lower. Another fresh low here on Intel. Not a one of them has been able to hold the bid. Adara?
A little bit more here on this Nvidia headline. Again, this is not related to the keynote. Wall Street Journal reported that Refrain AI, which is a startup backed by Nvidia, will be spending billions of dollars on on a Korean data center. So again, Refrain AI going to be spending billions of dollars on a data center in Korea. Now you're thinking, Adara, you already said this. I did, but I have more details now. Also, according to the same Wall Street Journal article, Nvidia is going to be supplying chips for this Refrain AI data center in South Korea. Now, apparently, this data center is also going to be getting support from the governments of both U.S. and Korea. So long story short here, it looks like Refrain AI, backed by Nvidia, will be spending billions of dollars on this data center to combat China with the help of the U.S. and Korean governments.
All right. Yeah, I was just going to, say like news outside of this conference, that might even move the stock more than what we're seeing right now. I mean, good out looks like on USO. Remember, breaking, I just want to make sure we have this, breaking 116 and we're out. So we just got some more outs down here, breaking through the 50 period again there, 50 period there, 50 period there. Got that bid at 115 that we were sitting around for. So, last week we talked about using stop orders and things like that. So, I'm just going to get stopped out. Just like we did on that bid down there at 115. If this breaks 116 where we're in, then we're just going to stop out. I mean, we had read that report. We heard that report about, potential easing in the tensions there between Israel and Iran. And that didn't really follow through. So nothing going on there. Look, I know a lot of you here for Nvidia. Randy, again? Man, I'm too conditioned. But look at Nvidia right here, just falling off the face right here. Like just boom, right back into these levels. This might be a buy right now at these levels. I mean, this is the low of the day here for NVDA. Market's still holding up. I mean, the market's acting like there's nothing going on, really. I mean, it's downside pushing the market, but it doesn't look like this. We're still above VWAP. This one's at the low of the day right now. And a possible buy, I don't know. He's saying that demand just keeps going up. So, yeah, I mean, what do we want to look at? SOX L maybe here? 3 times bull shares? Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Will this market eventually turn itself around or not? Not too sure. I like that there, Fabian, or whoever just did that. Hey, guys. Hey, it's me. But, yeah, there's the SOX L right here near the lows as well. So if you want to just, like, avoid NVIDIA and maybe just go with the bull play here, as Jensen in my ear is talking about demand being still through the roof. So, I mean, I like it, but I don't know if the stock is acting appropriately here. So, NVIDIA downside. Hey, what's up, Neil? NVIDIA downside as we go back and forth here. I don't know if it's going to find a base. Maybe we go short through the day low break here.
Okay, first of all, that's a great look, Fabian. But no, I'm like, this is crazy. Like Intel is it's pulling back. It is what it is, man. It's pulling back into Friday's highs. Like pulling back into prior day highs. Like my first thought usually is revert that move because that's where you expect to bounce. We're at 46.5 on Intel. It's getting absolutely woodshedded, but as long as it's looking like this, you gotta wait for it to make some kind of constructive bottom. I looked over to see if AMD looks any good. AMD actually not looking
getting
bad.
Hit now. if you're still in anything, it's going down pretty good right now. Here's Nvidia right now.
Did it just spike?
Oh, spike. Sorry, you went the other way.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, I saw it start to move. And I thought it was going down. It's going the other way. Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, what's up, Adara?
Nvidia spiking higher, guys. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang saying, quote, demand just keeps going up. We know that, of course, Sean mentioned this as well, but nice spike higher here for NVDA. If there's any other headlines to explain this move, I'll let you know, but I'm not hearing anything else in the conference to suggest anything either way here. Some of these plays in that AI space pushing higher, including, as mentioned here, AMD. Maybe keep an eye as well on some of these plays like Micron not moving too much here in the memory space, but either way, demand reportedly going higher, according to Jensen Huang.
Well, maybe that's it, and maybe that's all we needed. So all of a sudden, 185.50, that's literally the high of the day.
The thing is, I didn't know what to believe. Like, so many times I sat here and heard news about Nvidia and about how demand is so super high. There it goes, man. So see you later. There goes Nvidia, like absolutely through the roof. So this is what we've all been waiting for. It is here. It is here right now. That's your face slapper of the day. It's Nvidia. I don't have it, but there it goes, man. We heard demand is still through the roof, which is what Nvidia said, or what Jensen said. And again,
wow.
like, you know, not being able to, oh, Jesus.
Well, that was fast.
He just said $1 trillion in revenue he sees. $1 trillion in. So the revenue that this man sees is the market cap of maybe a handful of companies in the world. Computing demand should be higher than that. This is absolutely ripping to the high side there. And look, if demand is there in the space, it's there for everybody. Watch out for AMD. Here we go, man. Hey, remember when I said 200 before 178 on Nvidia? Well, now it's about 1-to-1, the odds. So here we go. It was 2-to-1. Now it's 1-to-1. Nice move up there for Nvidia. Oh boy, the long-term account will be printing today. But there it goes. Nvidia to the upside on increased demand. All this guy's talking about is data center revenue still going higher. So Oracle, I'm assuming that's going to be to the roof as well. What about my guy Marvell? I mean, this is the sleeping giant in all of this. I know I've said it numerous times. If the data center is going to work out, and there's going to be more and more talk here, Broadcom, Marvell, I like both their stocks. I like Dell. I like SMCI. I like everything that has to do with the data center because they just keep on telling us the truth. And I mean, it's in the numbers. The numbers are there. For Nvidia, and it's just whether or not the market wants to give it to them or not. It's doing it right now, straight up $5 for Nvidia. What's up?
Yeah, it took me a while to process this mentally here too, but this 2027, if he means fiscal 2027, that's this fiscal year currently. So if he's seeing $1 trillion in revenue, that's also a sharp up.
What just happened to my...
From the just over $200 billion in revenue they posted this year. So again, it's unclear if he means like calendar year 2027, which would be fiscal 2028, or current like fiscal year 2027, because those are two very different things. If I get more info, I'll let you know. But yeah, if he means fiscal 2027, that would be this fiscal year.
So just to give you a quick recap there, because I know it was like in that moment, Nvidia spiked to the upside. AMD broke that trend line that was literally in the process of drawing. It immediately, I'm hearing myself because I have the, oh, there we go. I had the stream on for some reason. So I turned on Jensen. I'm like, why am I hearing myself speak? That's because my other YouTube had the stream on there, so I was hearing myself. No, so we broke and went right into the highs. So it was very, very quick. It was that trend break through 197, like 75. It got to the 99. It's already reversing back in. I'm not reloading this. I think, in my opinion, that was just a matter of it broke the trend line, and it happened to be doing so at the moment that Nvidia did that. So it kind of is what it is. But now you're seeing Nvidia pull back in here.
And good.
And so far, so good. I mean,
say something else.
Unfortunately, I don't know if you pointed out Micron. Yeah,
no.
Micron actually didn't do much of anything and is actually heading lower. So it tried to break even just a little bit out and is heading lower as we speak. So Nvidia is strong. AMD was okay. There was a spike in Intel. It's right back at the lows. This was definitely an Nvidia party, and it's already starting to come back. And I did throw, did it work? It did, there we go. I threw up the poll because you said it was 1-to-1. I'm like, oh, fine, we'll put the poll up. It's not 1-to-1 anymore. But will Nvidia hit 200 or 175 first? I'll cast my vote for 200. Go Bulls. 175 if through an AI bubble, but it hitting 175 wouldn't be a bubble bursting or anything like that. But 2 out of every 3 of the first 300 votes are saying 200 first for Nvidia. And you gotta really believe okay, right now we're getting Jensen's talking, and we're getting a lot of flash news and reaction. But let's be real. Nvidia's been in this consolidation since the end of last month. So 188 failing on a volume spike, on a kind of like a headline move, that's not a big deal. That's reversing where you almost would expect it to reverse. Tomorrow's the big story. Like if we can hold these levels and retake that 188 tomorrow, maybe later on in the session, or maybe it does it in the aftermarket, because that's how Nvidia rolls. Watch, but a Blue Ocean trader's probably gonna have fun tonight with Nvidia, but that 188 is still gonna be in play. I would expect when you have a big resistance level for the last 3 weeks, that an event like this, it's gonna be hard to chew through it, but I still like this for a more traditional breakout, maybe tomorrow here on Nvidia. Go back to Adara, see what else we have going on.
More info on NVDA here. As we mentioned here, the spikes like almost to 189 after CEO Jensen Huang says Nvidia could be doing at least $1 trillion in revenue by 2027. Furthermore, he's trying to lay out what he sees the business being. At that point, he says 60% of Nvidia's business is going to be hyperscalers. So once again, Nvidia, big spike to the upside after CEO Jensen Huang projecting at least $1 trillion in revenue by 2027. He does say that that number implies there's going to be a lot of infrastructure for NVDA.
I mean, I'm just going to...
Everything is right back where it was.
Yeah, it's right back where it is. I'm just going to go play off that most recent low, which is 30s. If it breaks 30s, fine. I'm going to take a small piece here. Like, the opportunity for it to go... Okay, well, here it comes. We're going to get stopped out in 5 seconds here, it looks like. But I was going to say the opportunity for it to go back up to the upside. Well, we didn't get stopped out there. What are we long at? 78s? I don't think this is going to go man enough for me to do anything with it. We're very close to getting that. Here it comes. We're very close to getting that stop out rate now, breaking back lower. I just think the risk to reward there, using that low as here it comes, using that low as our out. We're out now, so there it goes. But let's just wait for the next update. Like we didn't really give back anything there on Nvidia. So well, we did, but you know, we're not playing huge. You can see where this is going. It seems like it's coming back in. If anything, do we wait for view up? I mean, I hate looking at these things when we don't really know the story. Like at any moment, he could release whatever he wants to about any topic. So maybe worth it. Let's just well, obviously. Now we're seeing that the stock wants to go the other way for us. So now we just have to wait and make sure that Nvidia is the right trade moving forward on the long. So back through 185 now, we just hit it and bounced a little bit off of it. It's not really worth scalping here because back and forth, like you blink, like you watch this, blink. It didn't move it. I was thinking you blink and maybe it moves 30, 40 cents, but just waiting for Nvidia, see if we hear something out of our ear. We do have Bloomberg here. We've got Adara behind us. So we'll take a little small hit there, 50-cent hit on Nvidia, but not playing with huge shares as we wait to see if there is going to be a play happening right now. USO, a couple more outs here. I mean, hoping that it still falls down. Our out is still 116. Relatively yawn kind of event right now. I'm going to go to Adara, but we did have IBM on the move. That's came back in as well. So far, like every name that's been mentioned, including Palantir here on that bump up, right into there, made a move right back to these levels and now got faded again. So Jensen's not doing anybody any favors, but the market did like that little story there. So maybe we do have a get up here at some point. Nvidia back to 186 again. What's up, Adara?
Jensen made a pretty important clarification. He said that he sees at least $1 trillion in revenue through 2027. So as I said, it'd be kind of tough to get to that $1 trillion by 2027 compared to last year's revenue. But yeah, that's what's happening here. He also says that's going to be specifically in the AI infrastructure demand. And 60% of that demand is going to come from hyperscalers. So again, that $1 trillion target's going to span a couple years. Back to you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the market might hit the stock more than that then. I mean, that's a pretty big misunderstanding, I feel
It's a rather large misunderstanding.
Like thinking that it was going to happen next year and then it's going to span a couple years. I don't know. Maybe that is why this move comes right back to the downside.
Sure, the algos are overreacting to...
Yeah.
Although, you know what? I mean, AMD is trying to go here a little bit. So AMD actually bounced pretty cleanly. This might have already been a miss. Almost needed to grab it like right back where it broke the trend, but it's all the way at VWAP. I feel like this is kind of one of those moments. If you chase the move $1 into it, you're just asking for problems, right? Especially Jensen's still talking. Like this is not a chase. This is allow it to hold that support at 197.5, and then maybe that'll be a bit of a reload opportunity. I still see all this weakness, all that weakness in Micron. I don't know what's up with this stock today. Like you already had SanDisk looking much stronger than Micron, and now it's so weak. Unfortunately, you were saying Oracle's making.
No, I mean I was thinking like I might as well just. I was thinking like in my mind I was thinking, okay, what are we going to short here? Because that was a data center story, and it's just like Oracle already hit VWAPs coming back in. Kind of wanted to get a little lower. Wow, look at Nvidia. Oh man, like talk about the back and forth right here. Like that was interesting. You know, caught it. Like we were just like, it's 188. All of a sudden, it's so much closer to 200 than it was to 78. Now you're way closer to 78 than you were to 200. So, yeah, about that.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, I better phone my kids. It's not lobster tonight, my guy. We're eating some ramen, but there it goes, man. We were just like, it's a great time to check the
ramen.
Nah, it's just known as like
It's Aaron's favorite new. She is.
Yeah, my kids love
all
ramen.
about ramen.
I would take ramen in a heartbeat, but you know, it's those little packages you get for 20 cents. You know, that's why that's why
they're not that good for you.
I mean, my kids is like, I told you, you weren't here, but like last week, Darren wanted to know what we cooked that night. Shoot, I forget what it was. Yeah, good.
It was Wednesday night, and you said one child wanted steak, and that was your son, and then your daughter wanted lobster. So who won?
Yeah.
Who won, Sean?
Whoa, doesn't that have to be
I
surf and
remember
turf,
what
baby?
it was.
You do both.
I remember what it was.
Surf and
Marissa
turf.
made salmon that night. That's what it was, because we went out.
That's a pretty good, I would say, balance, because salmon can come in a steak form.
And she made it, yes. And so she made it with a bowl with rice and noodles and all that. So remember I was telling you that she makes these bowls? So that's what she made that night. And there was a little bit left over when we got home there. We went out with ice. And of course, yes, it was the ice that you're thinking about.
No, it wasn't.
Intercontinental Exchange.
Yes.
I mean, we're watching, this is a
Look, man, if Nvidia doesn't bounce soon, ain't nobody going to be having no
That's what I'm saying.
Surf and turf.
They might not even have ramen. My kids are going to be eating water.
What is going on here, Jensen?
Get
off maybe Jensen stops talking and it looks better.
Eating water.
Eating water? Who said eating water?
I did. We can't even afford the noodles over here. But there it goes, man. We're bouncing right now off of 183.50. That is your low of the day right there. So I don't... Oh boy, we're not. I'm like about all that. We're just joking. Like I don't have anything actually on right now. We have very, very small. We got out of Palantir once it broke there. Palantir's still at the same spot, and USO hasn't done anything really. I mean, we're waiting on this USO trade. By the way, 15% left. So if it breaks 16, fine. It's not doing anything. I was waiting for a little bit more. I just got a note here. Maybe Alibaba moving around. No, not really. It was just this 50 down here. 50 period, 200 period take. And we had looked at this before. This could have been a level 136 and change, low of the day in the afternoon. If this is what's happening in the market, like what is our good friend Oracle saying about all this? Yeah, I'm surprised it's not even down more. Is AMD feeling though kind of ways on this? No. So I'm wondering, okay, there goes USO, fine, man. I'm completely happy with that. Honestly, that was a good trade. I could see here. We actually wind up making just as much on USO today as we do on Nvidia, so can't be complaining about that one. Palantir's still my baby with a big trade today on Palantir. We wind up losing in and out on Amazon early today as well. We tried to go short. That was not right, and I'm glad that we got the out of Dodge there. This was just a play against the market. Like the market was fine and Amazon was down. So I was like, if the market kept going down, then Amazon maybe retraces with it. Unfortunately, as you can all see, now the market's coming back in, but the market did have kind of a nice, there's the move down in the market. Amazon was trying to go down with it. Market moves back up. Amazon stops moving, and then all of a sudden does. So we got stopped out there. You can see Nasdaq up 1.2%, while Amazon up 2.19%. So Amazon now, whoopsies, upside. Look at it. Watch this 50-period moving average. If you can find stock that are trending, man, that's the key. And right now, Nvidia is doing the complete oppo. But do we just want to say, you know what? Maybe he won't shed his own blood anymore. And oops, bye-bye. Well, there goes that trade idea. I was like, maybe we go long off that low. The very next candle breaks that low. So about that trade, yeah. We're not going to do that one. And it's going lower now as 183.
And still.
Gulp. Yeah, the trend here. has been our friend for a minute, just not right now on Nvidia. Nice break lower. Look at the volume pick up ever since that $1 trillion comment, man. This thing went live at 2 o'clock, so right into here.